السلام عليكم شباب وصباح. اليوم هنبلش بيونت جديدة بالكيمستري، هي الأورجانيك كيمستري والبارت 2 of the box. the first chapter analysis. هلا شو المقصود بالelementary analysis؟ كلمة analysis يعني in order to identify the nature or the component of this compound. That is the simplest way of the definition of elementary analysis. Analysis to identify the nature of the compound. We have two types of analysis, and one of them is depend on the analysis. The first step in analysis is the qualitative. The qualitative mean determine the identity of the elements that found in a compound. لنعرف شو مركب هذا الكومباوند من أي عناصر كيميائية، يعني كربون، هيدروجين، كلورين، فلورين، silver, sulfur, phosphorus, any elements. How to identify the component of the element. The other types of analysis is the quantitative analysis. This process depend, or this type of analysis depend on the previous one's qualitative. It is used to determine, in quantitative analysis, used to determine the quantity of each element in the compound. نعرف شو مكونات هذا الكومباوند. بعد ما عرفنا شو مكوناته، شو العناصر الكيميائية بقلبه، لازم نعرف قديش الكمية العناصر الموجودة. يعني إذا كان في الكومباوند في بقلبه كربون وهيدروجين، لازم نعرف كم كربون كم هيدروجين في عندي بقلبه الموليكيول. إذا عندي مثلا كومباوند في بقلبه هيدروجين وسلفر وأكسجين، لازم نعرف بتركيبة الموليكيولز how many hydrogen in molecule, how many sulfur and how many oxygen elements or atoms in this compound. What is meant by each one? إذن زي ما حكينا he is the determination of the nature of the elements that form the compound. Quantitative is to determine the quantity of each element. To identify the elements, chemists make a series of chemical reactions. كل عنصر كيميائي في عنده تيست خاص فيه. فمثلا نحن بنعرف انه او كل كومباوند له تيست خاص فيه. فمثلا نحن بنعرف او انتم اخذوا بسنوات ماضيه انه الكربون dioxide is identified by changing the lime water milk or turbid the lime water. A hydrogen gas produce a pop sound in contact with a flame. The oxygen gas make a glowing splint glow, steady glow. For example مثلا الwaters have كمان there is a test for water. مثلا it form a droplets of water on a closed flask or can done by a certain series of chemical reaction. مثلا iron ion Fe2+ can react with sodium hydroxide and give a greenish precipitate. So every element or every chemical species have its a chemical test. What is the aim of quantitative analysis? زي ما قلنا is to determine the quantity of each element. How to determine the quantity of each element? By using mathematical calculation. Why we have a mole, we have calculate the mass, or determine the percent by mass, or determine the number of atoms in a molecules. Any mathematical relation we take in chemistry, it is used in quantitative analysis. It depends on the result of the qualitative analysis. حسب الرياكشن اللي عم بتصير، حسب الكيميكال ايكويشن اللي عم بتصير لكل عنصر، فينا نستفيد منها نعرف نحدد الكميات لكل عنصر كيميائي موجود. والهدف من هيدي الاناليسيس كلها من الجهتين، خلاصة النهائية انه انا لازم اعرف what is the molecular formula and the empirical formula. In this video we will explain how to determine the molecular formula of a compound. In another video we will explain what is meant by molecular formula. اوكي، في عندي طريقتين، في عندي قاعدتين هون بالكالكوليشن انا بستعملهم لحدد الموليكولار فورمولا للكومباوندز. في اول طريقه يسموها law of definite proportion of mass، وفي عندي شو اسمه percent by mass. we are familiar with the percent by mass، بنعرفه واخدينها بدروس قبل. هلا we suppose that we have here an organic compound is made up or is composed from 4 elements: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. How to determine the subscript x, y, z and t? We use the following mathematical relation. The first relation here which known as a law of definite proportion أو law of definite mass proportion، اللي هي بتنكتب من خلال إنه باخد أنا أول element الموجود معي بكتب المولر ماس اللي إله times subscript x. إذا we substitute the molar mass of carbon multiplied by subscript x. For this other element, the molar mass of hydrogen multiplied by subscript y. The similar way for oxygen and nitrogen. If we have another chemical element, we place in the ratio, and each molar mass is divided by its percent by mass. Molar mass of hydrogen divided by the molar mass of hydrogen, and so for each element. The final ratio هي بتكون molar mass of the compound divided by the 100, which is the summation of the total percentage. Then the aim of this relation, we have to determine the subscript x, y, z and t. في بعض الأسئلة ممكن أن يكون حاطين الجيفن percent by mass, so we determine by from this relation x with y with z t subscript of each element in the chemical formula, so we determine the molecular formula. In some exercises we want to calculate the percentage by mass of each element. هدول حنشوفهم بإكزامبل بعد شوي بطريقتين. To calculate the percent by mass, as you are familiar with it, هي mass of the element over the mass of the compound. This means if we want to find the percent by mass of carbon, we substitute the mass of carbon over the molar mass of the compound. أكيد حسب السؤال لازم يكون معي أن هدول ال two masses given to make a substitution in order to calculate the percent by mass if for hydrogen, for carbon, for oxygen and for nitrogen. Then we will start with this example. In this example, calculate the percent by mass composition of the كلمة percent by mass بدنا نركز عليها، هذه كتير بتمق معنا بالأسئلة. percent by mass composition يعني ال percent by mass of each element. And I'll take here butanol of molecular formula C4H10O. The only given in this exercise is the molar mass of the different elements. How to calculate the percent by mass? The only given is the molar mass. Let's see how to calculate. Okay, which of the following relation is the most appropriate relation? We can use it in order to find the percent by mass. Can we use the law of definite proportion or this percent by mass of element? And for this relation, in order to use it, we must have the mass of the element and the mass of the compound. إذا بنطلع بالسؤال ما في عندي لا mass of element ولا معي number of mole of the element ولا معي volume of certain elements وما في given شيء معي ولا معي mass of the compound. So this relation cannot be used. The only available relation is the definite law of proportion of mass, because we have the molar mass of each element مع molar mass of carbon, we have the molar mass of oxygen and the molar mass of hydrogen, and also we have the value of the coefficient subscript x, y and z. In this relation أكيد we don't use this, and it is not, nitrogen is not included in the molecular formula of butanol. We have 4, we have 10, so we have the oxygen here is equal to 1. So the first step, we find or calculate the molar mass of this compound. We have carbon is 12 multiplied by 4, oxygen similar way, and hydrogen. So we calculate the molar mass of the compound butanol. أول خطوة لازم يكون معي المولر mass للبيوتانول أو للكومباوند. الخطوة الثانية بنعمل نكتب relation of law of definite proportion according to the composition or the component or the molecular formula of this compound. Then we substitute the value. The molar mass of carbon is 12, the subscript is 4 here اللي هي معي هون 4. same molar mass of hydrogen اللي هي 1, والواي هي عندي is equal ل 10 اللي هي موجودة بالموليكولار فورمولا. المولار ماس of oxygen هي 16 and the subscript Z of oxygen in the molecular formula اللي هي 1. So we substitute the value of molar mass and the value of the subscript X, Y, Z depending on the molecular formula. So by mathematical calculation, you must find the value of the percent by mass of carbon, the percent by mass of hydrogen, and the percent by mass of oxygen. I will leave it to you to calculate the percent by mass of each element. Do it by yourself. Okay. By similar way, you have to solve these two exercises, 11 and 12, in your book, page 223. Another solved example we have. Another type of example we have as following. And the organic compound composed of 4 chemical elements, this time carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and chlorine. The analysis of this compound shows that we have the percentage of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and chlorine. And also we have the molar mass of compound. Given we have the molar mass of each element. هو ممكن يكون السؤال هذا النوع من الأسئلة الثانية بنقول لي determine the molecular formula of this compound. إذا بالسؤال اللي قبل كان معنا المولر ماسز، سأل عن البيرسون باي ماس وكان هو أنا معي الموليكولار فورمولا compound كان معي السبسكريبت. هون بالسؤال هون سؤال عكسي، سؤال مختلف هالمرة، في عندي البيرسون باي mass of each element and we don't have the subscript of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and chlorine. So he asked me determine the molecular formula of this compound. Determine the molecular formula of this compound. The only way to calculate it is by using the law of definite proportion. First thing, we suppose that the formula is Cx. We write a formula, we give for every element a certain coefficient or a certain subscript different from each other. We give for carbon X, for hydrogen Y, for oxygen Z, and for chlorine T. You can write any letters here, A, B, C, any letters you can write as a subscript. Okay, by using the law of definite proportion of mass. Okay, here for this carbon, we replace the molar mass with X subscript. Here we replace the molar mass of hydrogen with its subscript Y. Here the molar mass of oxygen with subscript Z, and the same way for chlorine. The final ratio is equal molar mass over 100. Then we substitute the value of each one. We have the molar mass of carbon. نحن معنا المولر mass للكربون عوضناها، معنا percent by mass of carbon given. The same way molar mass of hydrogen هو 1 percent by mass معنا. عملنا substitution for each element, for each value that is given in the example. والmolar mass للcompound هو كان معنا given هو 171. So by using these ratios, we take the first ratio equals to the last ratio to find the value of X. By the same way, we take the ratio of hydrogen that consists Y with the last one to find the Y. By the same way, we find the value of Z and T. I will leave it you to solve it and to calculate the value of this X, Y, Z, E. It should be as following: X must be 5, 8, Y 8, and oxygen 2, chlorine 2. If you calculate it by yourself, you must prove that or show that this is the molecular formula of this compound. كمان we have another exercise you must solve. Exercise 9, you only solve part A and B. كمان and exercise 10, you must solve only part A in page 223. Use what I explained in this video in order to solve the exercises 9, 10, and 11 with 12 in your book.